Hey guys, welcome back to mantalk.ke. Thank you for coming back and thank you for all the love on the last episode. I can hear Oscar chuckling. Today is a very exciting day. But before we jump into what this episode is all about, as you can see, we're in a different space this week. We are in Kofisi on Riverside Drive, a fantastic co-working space. We came to check it out and we were blown away. So thank you for having us. If you want to see more about Kofisi, there's going to be a link in this video. Thanks again. So, for context, why we're here.
Why are we here?
Why are we here? So, if you remember, if you've been following Man Talk for a while, season 5, episode 1 was called Love in the 254. Okay. It was a very reluctant episode. I remember our conversation before. Do we want to go to that space? And we said, let's try. And it resonated with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Can you handle her being a particular
Can you emotionally
handle her, right? Yeah. Then we did an episode 2 with the beautiful, delectable Miss Wanjiro and the amazing
Mrs. Karaoke.
I'm getting there. I was going to give them the updates. Yeah. And then also with Ben Psycho, her significant other. Now, since then, they are now married. We're still here.
We are still here. We are here.
Still. For part 3.
For part 3. In fact, one of the people you have to shout out this episode is Beryl. Shout out to Beryl behind the camera. Because Beryl let us know that there was a lot of people who were asking about our own personal experiences.
Where?
And why we've been single for so long, and our own personal experiences as to how we perceive love and relationships. And because Man Talk, we never talk about it. Like Eli and I don't talk about love, relationships, and more intimate aspects of our lives.
For good reason.
Yes, for a very good reason. And then I got a DM. No, the Man Talk message. We got Man Talk messaging from like 3 girls who sat down and said, we love the Love in the 254, but we never hear your own opinion on failed relationships, on your past relationships, and how you grew from that. Yeah. And we also don't know what your perception of love is as individuals. And we feel like we are finally ready to have that conversation. Well, they're finally ready to have that conversation.
Listen, I've never been more nervous for an episode.
Oh my gosh.
I'm hot, sweating. Jesus. We are wearing black.
Yeah, there's a reason why we're wearing black.
Character defamation. No, but in all seriousness, I'm looking forward to it. I think the whole idea of being vulnerable means having to go to these kind of places and talk about this stuff on camera. There's the fun side of it, there's the personal side, and there's also going to be some value, hopefully.
Yeah. So let's jump right in.
Can you see? I
can see.
You know, the one thing about Man Talk.
Let's jump right in. Let's go. So. All right, first question, legit. The first question I have for you, Eli, is my guy.
My brother.
Don't even drink this water.
This is a tough episode, guys.
Ever since you came back to Nairobi, how have you been handling the attention? Every time we go to places, it's always...
Oscar,
how do you handle that? How do you handle the attention that these ladies are giving you, Eli?
So I'll give context. This has all been very, very new to me. When I first came to Kenya, there was that initial, who's this new guy? Because I was doing things online, which comes with, attention. So I was used to a couple of DMs, a bit cheeky. And I was like, okay, it's fine. I can handle that. One blessing I've had, this is something I talk with my mom about a lot, is it's not arrogance, it's facts, right?
Okay.
I'm very used to beauty. Like, I've been exposed to it since I was young. Like, I've always been around very good looking people. So for me, like, even getting quote unquote attention from beautiful people.
You're starting there a bit, brother.
From beautiful people, it's not been too much of it doesn't faze me too much. I'm not like flattered by attention. I'm flattered by things that there's a bit more substance than like beauty. So even this kind of fickle interactions I have, they don't really blow me away. I'll appreciate it. I'll be flattered. Yes, okay, we'll chat. But, I think I've been able to remain objective regardless of the attention since I came back, which has been substantially more. The channel has grown. My page has grown. And so has the attention. So,
my guy.
Yeah, but I'm good. Like, I'm okay. I'm not like, those teen stars that start to...
That's what? Sorry?
Just while out. I'm okay. Like, I'm okay with it. I'm used to it. And now I have structure in terms of even how those interactions go. I can navigate them nicely. So, yeah.
You have structure.
I have structure. Oscar, from coming from the guy with no social media to growing a podcast that has impacted ladies specifically and gents too, that comes with attention as well. So for you, how have the last 2 years been? Because I know
I am trying so hard in this podcast. Guys, I wish you knew how hard I'm first of all,
it's been tough, huh?
Oh God!
Because this is we're trying to express our reality.
Guys, this is
the reality.
This is us trying to give you a real conversation of what we've observed in Nairobi ever since we started Man Talk. Because we had this conversation in February, and our thoughts were very, like you'd say, we were inclined towards, having a more stable, more predictable way of entering and leaving relationships. Like there's that, don't do this, don't do that. Like everyone seems to have their own roadmap as to how relationships should work. And even you sit down and you tell yourself like, this is how men and women interact. Like there's a roadmap. Oh, you have to be cool. You have to posture like this. You have to do this. You have to do that. But my friends, I'm here to tell you, we are wrong.
Yeah. You can't call it.
That's the thing. Me and Eli always say, we can't call it. Like the women in our lives who you meet, especially from me coming from the context of having absolutely no social media, literally it's in mid 2020, I think. Yeah, that's when I came back. But like to now, it's absolutely different because I'm totally used to like going and then like pushing the conversation, putting it on your back, carrying the whole conversation and going like, oh yeah, this is interesting, tell me about this, and like that's how I've grown, I think, as a good conversationalist, is like challenging myself to meet people and to kind of find the areas of interest and then just keep circling around that. That's like how I've gotten to know people. But then it's a very different setting. It's very different when someone else, like especially women, come up to you as a guy and say, oh my God, I find you so interesting. I find this idea very interesting. I find this about you very interesting. Like sometimes I didn't know I could be shy.
I'm blushing.
I didn't know. Yeah, my guy, I didn't know like I could be like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I say? But so far the interactions have been very positive, and shout out to everyone who's watching Man Talk and like giving us the love, because I feel like you and I actually, and the team obviously, we do a lot to try and consistently give content. Yeah. So shout out to that.
The funny thing, I think what we've explained, we wanted to start with where we are now with ladies in our life, and the conclusion is it's very different. It's a lot of attention, so it's trying to navigate that, right, and remain actually with your head screwed on. Now I want to talk about how that's come about, because it's based on your environment, right? The reason people have felt drawn to us is because of the environment, which does speak to a larger problem, right? So I feel like the message I get is you're a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Thank you for being able to speak, and you're being celebrated only because of the stark contrast with what's there already. So you're put on this pedestal that sometimes I don't think is even justified, because it's like we're just guys we're figuring this out, trying. But in us being vulnerable, in us talking about real issues, you find the women are so drawn to that, and it's like, wait, yes, we're trying to do a service, but it's just shining a light on how dire the situation seems to be for ladies. Yeah. So it could look like, yes, we're benefiting from the dire situation, but it does speak to a larger problem that they seem to say, this is what I get a lot of the time, like, I'm so glad there's men like you out there.
Vulnerability has become incredibly attractive. Let me tell you. I don't know. Like, there's two sides of the mountain. I always tell you this. There's the side where you have to be ultra masculine. You're the one going to the club, buying bottles, doing the absolute most for attention. And then there's this other side that I've come to discover. It's like the fact that we are brave enough, I think, to come on a podcast and like talk about our lives and how we're growing as young men. For some reason, has made us like, my guy, I don't know how to, like, I've been struggling with handling that new reality of like people are actually resonating with the message of like vulnerability is actually making us attractive. It's a crazy thing to say, but vulnerability is actually making us attractive in Nairobi. And it's nice to see that, our perception that, men have to be hard macho guys to be able to like land absolutely beautiful. Like, hey, let me touch my chest. Absolutely
true.
beautiful women who are accomplished and intelligent. You don't have to be like doing the most, bro.
So this is a cheat sheet. You know, you can fake it till you make it. Because if you fake the vulnerability, after a while, you might actually start becoming vulnerable because you're vocalizing this stuff, right?
Yeah,
so that could be a cheat sheet. Guys, genuinely, the macho thing, I don't think works
Be sweet,
anymore.
bro. Be sweet.
Sweet boys,
Sweet
it works.
boy.
It seems to work.
Yeah.
But okay, so
Okay.
that's the situation now. I don't know if it's been concise, but that's how it is now. It seems there's a lot of attention. We're trying to figure that out. Now, the people we are today, the fact that we can be vulnerable is based on a journey, right? And every time a guest sits here, we do the thing. So tell us, where did it start, right? So I want us to do the same thing because this is what the girls in the note said.
I mean,
they want to hear.
Jesus, you want to talk to me?
They want to hear how do you get to this mindset in terms of your relationship with women. And also, Beryl has told us as well, you need to be more open. Tell them how you got to this space because it's a journey. Like you don't just arrive and you've got this kind of perspective. And we're still on the journey because we're not perfect, like we said. So what's your relationship been with relationships up until this point? Okay.
Terrible. Absolutely. 10 out of 10 do not recommend. And like, you know, I think, no, I'm not going to say terrible. Of course, you know, there are memories that I have of my previous relationships that make me happy. And I think they all contributed towards the man I am today. But I just think for me, the issue was always a timing issue. Like I don't, personally, that's just my opinion. My humble opinion is that as a young guy who's in his mid to late 20s, there's no way I should sit down and start prioritizing a relationship in my life right now. Because I have like a million things that I need to get done. Like my professional life, which is very demanding. You guys know this is the last quarter of the year. So it's like this is the time when I'm really seeing how demanding the role I occupy has been. And at the same time, I have a podcast that I'm trying to run as a business. So, you know, as much as you are there as my business partner, I also have to exhibit growth on my own. I have to walk my own personal growth journey and get to that place where I've evolved as a man. All of these, so for me, the relationships that I've had in my past are a constant reminder to do the self-work before I find, you know, a woman who I can like love. Because the problem with me is that I love and I love deeply. Like I'm those guys who, I don't do love halfway. You know, I don't do the whole halfway thing where, you know, oh, she's my girlfriend today, but tomorrow, you know, I don't have the wiring for that. Like I don't have the wiring for that. I'm more of a, like, this is someone who I want to build life with. And you know, the most painful thing about losing a relationship, and I always say it, like the hardest part isn't, and you have to go through it at some point, of course, it's a part of your growth, but the hardest part is saying goodbye to the plans that you had, the vision that you had for that relationship. Because it's a failure. It's a failure in the sense that like you will grow from it, but you won't really achieve the full potential of it.
The immediate response is this is failed, right? So
as a man, you know, it attacks your ego, so you have to be very self-aware to actually like walk out a relationship. And I feel like a lot of men, when dealing with the rejection of a failed relationship, really don't know how to frame it in their minds to not make it personal.
And it turns into radical behavior.
Then it just turns into, you turn into like, you turn into the devil. Like you tap in, you tell him, listen, I don't care. Especially my own experience was like, the past relationship I had that failed, I remember my immediate reaction was like, oh, it must be because I'm this like nice sweet boy working in an office, being such a nice guy. Immediately, I remember my reaction was like, demon, wherever you are inside. Where like that was my
summoned, right?
My immediate reaction was like, for me, if that's being nice, being agreeable isn't working, then clearly there's a lot of information that I just don't have that I have to go and find. And so like for me, like relationships, for me, my relationship with the relationships has been a journey of, a relationship is what shook me awake. You know, in your life, there are those things that happen to you, and then like, you're like, my God, I've been sleeping. This whole time I've been thinking I know what's going on. That's the thing that just, and I was like, I'm never going to find myself here again.
But I think even and this is why everyone always says you need to, like you mentioned, do the self-work before you start entering someone else's life and occupying their space. Because if that self-work had happened and you had a better relationship with Oscar, regardless of if this fails, yes, you have to feel, but it wouldn't translate into such radical behavior because you'd have the breaks and you'd have the
you do have the kind of the when you, I feel, okay, so the truth about the relationships when they fail. It's not even, you might look at that person and say, oh, this person, this is what they did, you know, this relationship, this is what he took away from me. Oh my God. And you know, that's the first reaction, like from a brain that's not like, you're not mature enough to fully process. And this is why I always tell guys, if you're young, like early 20s, like but there's no formula. Like I said, I have friends who met in the early 20s and they got married, so you don't really know. But statistically, you're on the leeward side of the mountain. Statistically, like there's a very high chance that relationship won't succeed. But a lot of young men aren't prepared for the relationship to fail. So when the relationship fails, it becomes a compounded traumatic experience. Like I always feel, especially if you're not used to failure. Like if in your life you're like, I've been winning. I don't know how to lose. Like if I really apply myself towards something, I always win. A relationship is not a business. It's not linear. A relationship is something that's so different. The variables are so many. And when I went through that period of my life, it was like, I sat down, like my friends used to hate me for this. Like I sat down and ruminated for like a good 1 year, like 365 days of just what happened. And like then I processed everything. Then I uploaded it and I was like, okay, like this needs to change, that needs to change, that needs to change. And the result that came for me was that, bro, don't stay away from relationships until you've dealt with your own trauma and with your own like personal growth. Then you can bring value to someone in a way that's sustainable. Otherwise, you're going to give someone burdens that they can't even carry. And then you yourself is going to compound on you and you're going to turn into something that you can't recognize.
That's so very transformative, is what you're saying.
For me, it was, like I said, I was dead asleep. Like in my life, I was dead asleep. You know, oh, golden boy, oh, you've worked where, you've done what, your career trajectory is.
So surely this means...
so that's the, should be, where the hell is she going? And then it happened, and then I'm like, what?
Question everything. But that's good that it happens like early.
It happened really early.
Nice
so
early,
I thank God for it. Like I wouldn't be... I don't think Man Talk as a platform, I'd be able to contribute as much as I do if that didn't happen. And it's not because of, I'd say, the relationship, it's because of the mindset that I now have and the mindset that it took away. Like I feel like I had to literally murder myself. I had to literally, like, to move to the next level, I had to let go of certain preconceived notions that were like mad vindictive. And now, like, I'm occupying a reality that if I always tell you, like, for me, it's like I'm in a dream. Like, what do you think? The women of my dreams are literally like the women of my dreams. Like, these are the women who, like, you want the finest of the those ones.
Welcome to the good life.
Those ones are the ones that are like coming, hey, Oscar, we love what you're doing on Man Talk. You don't think that's transformative? Hey, the fact that, like, I can have a podcast like this and say, like, you know, I'm in the management and, like, this is what we're trying to deliver. Just that whole journey is sourced from there. I'm glad you went through that journey. What about you?
So my instinct was to just be like, and then how did that make you feel, Oscar? And turn into Oprah. And just not. But let me. Okay. So on my part, I'm going to structure mine sort of differently. I haven't had as much drama or like anything like volatile in mine. It's just been a case of my past relationship, which is 7 years ago. Incredible lady, still very good friends to this day. Is that I entered a relationship when I was still immature. So amazing intentions. I went in there like, oh my goodness.
Same here.
But I had no idea the level of growth I needed to go through to be able to. My main problem was having my mind and my life and then considering somebody else's life that's not my family. Strange for me. Like I didn't have the bandwidth to be able to always be there and like communicate. I still struggle with this today. Communicate, right? To be able to be emotionally available for her. Like, are you okay? This. So that would translate into me looking very cold. So a situation would happen like, this has happened. Okay, cool. But I'm thinking about myself because I've always been very, you know, what are you doing? Yeah. So that happened far too early. However, I tried to mitigate that. I tried to like grow up really fast. And when you're doing it and it's not natural, it's just it doesn't match up.
It's like we're reading off of a script.
You're faking it. I tried to be like, now I have to turn to a man, and same thing as you. My plan is like, okay, this is the lady. Okay, we're gonna have kids at this age. That means I need to. But the only thing it helped me with was my education. I took it more seriously when I entered a relationship because I started thinking I'm gonna have to get a house, etc. That's when I bought my first car, all this sort of stuff. So it was good in that sense. And what I will say is that, okay, the person I've become afterwards, I feel like, when it's like that it's just a timing thing. That at that time, great intentions, but it just wasn't ready for that thing now. But at the same time, our lives weren't supposed to match.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to say, it was just one of those things. But one thing I would say in terms of like relationships with ladies, etc., is having one thing I've really that's been valuable in my life is having an amazing relationship that's like platonic. I'm really struggling to talk about relationships. Platonic relationships, and also having a great relationship with the women in your life that are just like your mother and your sister. Because based on that, it helped me on the back of that relationship give me more perspective as to women and respect. Because luckily, when the relationship ended, there was no like resentment or anything, because I hold the ladies in my life in such a high regard that I was putting her there as well. So there's no way that I can start talking negative about that person.
I didn't, never.
Yeah.
I was about to say something that was like, embargoed. Even for me, I never like talk smack about my exes, not even once. But like, if I hear you talk smack about my exes or someone who I was involved with, I don't take it easy.
But I think that comes from guys having, it's to do with your relationship with women as like a gender, right? Like it's to do with that, because if you're with a lady every day, like your mother and your sister, and you've got friends, ladies to you are more than just a vessel for something you want. If you get what I'm trying to say, like they're more than just a body. They're more than just like looks. Which is why I go back to my point. I'm so used to beauty that even now, going into like the dating world that I'm kind of not in, going into that world now, the word like beauty for me is so far down the list now, just because I've been around women for so long that I know that, and my dad, I was saying this to you off camera, my dad was saying to me, after a few years, okay, the beauty is not going to be typical of what you would have liked at that age. So what are you there for if there's nothing after the beauty? One amazing experience, and I don't know why I'm going to share this, but one, I wouldn't say amazing experience, but the most challenging experience in my family that happened was my dad being on his deathbed, like 2 days to live, right? And as a young teen, when you see a woman step up like that, like bro, they were in the process of buying another house, right? So step up, sorts all of that out. She was a housewife for all those years. Then she's never really driven before. She had a license, but she didn't like to drive. She just used to sit, passenger seat, soft life, stepped up, driving like 2 hours, navigating all of this, school, where are you going, what's happening here? So realizing that the role that a lady plays in your life is so much more important than how she looks.
It's unbelievable.
Right? That now going forward, looking into like my future and the kind of lady I'm trying to get, you can be as beautiful as you want, but I'll be bored after 5 minutes. And that's just not arrogance. That's just because if I'm looking to do something with this person, in 20 years time, you're not going to look like that. I'm not going to look like that. So why are we here? So that's why even in terms of giving time to ladies in my life at the moment, I'm quite strict with that, because I put you in a certain box. Like, that sounds bad, but I put you in a box. This is not anything serious. This is potential, but it's been rare to actually find that. So just having those role models, those women in my life, a very strong lady like my sister, my mother, and having 2 best friends that are ladies. Yeah, I think the way I've like looked at ladies has really, really changed, and my ex being amazing too. So I've been lucky in that sense in terms of my relationship with ladies, I'd say. Yeah. But it's tough for guys. Like, some guys don't have that.
Yeah.
They have
and the thing is, okay, first of all, let's start with relationships with women and how they can bleed into your relationships with like, with your actual girlfriend. Is that I've found a little bit of a disconnect between the women who are in my life and their stability and kind of focus and offering something more than just being beautiful. And how I've kind of cultivated that is, I remember when I was in a relationship back then, I didn't have many platonic relationships that were women. So I didn't understand women as much as I should have.
That's the word, understanding.
So, you have to kind of have a context towards the conversations that you're having with women. You have to actually, that's what I'm saying. My experience, I was shook awake. Like, it's like there was this other side of the world that I didn't really understand. Like, women go through things every day. That you don't even understand.
Sorry, the strength that they use it in a week.
Yeah.
We probably use it months.
Yeah, there's such a
our life is very easy.
Yeah, especially when it comes to relationships and when it comes to there's a certain power imbalance that if you properly analyze, you'll find that women have to experience every day that men don't. And you see, that realization came to me when I was much older. And that came to me after I've walked a certain journey with a lot of the platonic relationships in my life. So now the women in my life obviously come to me with their, because they're attracted to my stability now. So they'll tell me kind of what their day to day is like. And my relationship with my mom is beyond belief. My mom, beyond belief. And because, the legal profession that she's also a lawyer. So I've literally grown up seeing my mom go to work every day and like seeing her like hustle and be a boss. Like how I handle my life, especially my career and kind of my career goals is really oriented towards what I saw mom do. Like my understanding of economics, my mom worked in the central bank and all that. And like my mom did all these things, all these courses, and the books were just in the house. Yeah. So like what happens? Oscar starts sitting down and reading books. So that's why I have a passion for economics, a passion for things like finance. And that all came from my mom. So my understanding of women has always been from that place of stability. But now, when you now start comparing women to, let's say, someone who's so stable, it can lead to a disconnect because not everyone who looks pretty has that same power or has that same energy. So, as a man, if your standards are she has to be light skinned, thick wear, the size of her behind won't raise your children. Yeah. You get what I mean? Yeah. The size of her behind won't raise your children. Like the person who will raise your children is the woman that you bring home. The virtue, the love, the care, the courage, all that is what she will impart to your sons and daughters. And that's been my standard. Like and I also told you this, like when I'm looking at a woman who I can probably get into a relationship with, it's always like, what if, let's say, children come and we are married, will my children starve because I have died? Yeah. Will my children suddenly have a serious drop in their quality of life simply because their mother can't really manage the home?
This is exactly what I was telling you about, like mine, right? Like deathbed, but still.
Yeah, still.
Everything remained
all of you will
calm.
go to school.
We all went to school. We didn't even realize how dire the situation is until she's like, we have to make a decision or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's,
so that stability. But it's like I said, the problem is that sometimes the disconnect. As men, I think we have to be careful because these women are not our mothers.
And they need to grow and mature.
Yeah, and you also have to remember, like, that's even when you're picking, and even when women pick us, sometimes they use their fathers as a standard. So they're like, your dad, my dad did XYZ, ABC. Why are you laughing?
I don't know.
Listen, so like that's not realistic.
That's very true. That's very true. That's good. This is a tough topic for me. I won't lie to you. This is
it's hard.
A very tough topic. Okay, one thing else, I'm trying to just keep it, because there's a place we can go.
We can go to mad areas. Mad. But starting with this weekend. How was this weekend, bro?
So what I was going to say is we're not doing that. So one thing I've realized as well, right, is the one thing I'd encourage. Say I had a younger brother. Right? I had a younger brother, and he's like 11. And he comes back and he's like, I've been in school and these girls. But I think one of the most powerful things you can do, and my brother does this fantastically, is to be okay with being just around women and just being a homie, like, and being able to have conversations with women and they could talk to you about other men, being able. That's a cheat sheet right there. Like when you have a few that could really tell you, yo, this is what it looks like we like, but we really don't like that, right? And you can have, because again, it puts them in that high regard. You look at them as human beings again, right? So I think another thing as well is, like I said with my mother and sister, is being able to go and have very frank conversations, because one of the most valuable things my mom said to me, right, and this is something I carry now, is she was like, the whole dynamic between men and women is really overcomplicated. Like, no, women like this, women like this. She said, women are the easiest people to please, and they're the easiest people to lose at the same time. So she was like, as long as you just take, because I think a lot of guys, they get into it for the assets, etc., but they don't take time to get to know this human, right? So everything else on the outside, he might have money, he might have this, that works for a certain time. And then, like my father was saying, after a while, things start to change. And because you haven't taken time to identify who this human is, you were there for other reasons, she was there for other reasons, that's why you get like 5-6 years in, you're like, this is not working. It's not that it's not working, it's that you didn't put in any time to still appreciate that person.
You read
afterwards.
the back of the book, you didn't read the whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But love is such a like, bro, you see, now that's the danger of you and I speaking about it, because it is such an unpredictable and unexpected thing, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You can't
call it. You can't call it. Like, we can't sit here and say, you know her for 6 months, 10 years. I've seen people like who've dated for like 3-4 months, gotten married, now they're happy with kids. And there's no fighting. There's nothing. It's all calm. And I've known people who've dated for like 7-8 years. But like I don't understand that, by the way. Yeah. The dating, how I don't understand. Yeah, I've seen it, but then the relationship isn't working. And you see now, like from our young kind of minds, you see, for us, we can't sit down and say, we understand what's going on. For me and you, our job is one. And I always tell you, enjoy. Our job is one. We have one job. Enjoy. Enjoy the fact that we're young. And like, we can do it, so you enjoy it. That's our job. Like,
no, it's true. It's never. That's very true.
Enjoy.
It's never gonna be. I was talking to my mentor the other day, and we were saying how it's a struggle, right? Because at one point I was so like, I just need a girlfriend. I just want to start life. I want to give me a mortgage. Yeah. Like, I just wanted. That's all I wanted. And then he was saying to me, he was like, listen, the standard you have for ladies, because he's very close to my family. He's like, if you're comparing women to your mother, do you know how long it's going to take for you to find somebody like that? And listen, I'm a mummy's boy, right? And I'm okay with that. And so he was basically saying, like, even for him, similar situation, very eligible bachelor. Yeah. And he was like, as soon as I stopped stressing about it, as soon as I stopped being like, I need to get this, it starts to sort of come. So you're right in terms of enjoyment.
Let the sugarcane ripen in the sun. I always tell you, if you keep rushing, you'll cut the sugarcane when it's green, my friend. When it's green and hard, let it stay in the sun. Let it be soft and tasty.
Yeah.
Wait.
There is a time for.
There's a time, and you know, I feel like, especially young men who feel like they've achieved a certain level of success, there's that pressure to like, oh, who's your wife, who's your girlfriend? No. Relax.
I think it's worse for girls though.
Yeah, it is, but men have it. Like, I don't think it's talked about enough. Like, men also have that pressure for, oh, and I'm seeing now you're doing that thing for Mantok. And you, where's your girlfriend?
Oh, every single week when I catch up with my family. It's,
and where's your who? But then I'm like, nah, don't rush me. Calm.
Would you say that you're like ready for a relationship?
No, nowhere near it. I'm not even close. Stay away from it. Like, facts, like, bro, like, how I want to have a story to tell my son. You know what I mean?
So she can't be involved in the story?
Nah, me, I just want a story to tell my son. Like, I want to live a quality of life that's my own. Like, I want to build my own life. And then you know what
We're going to have this debate now, okay? Because we've talked about this before. And we are so polar when it comes to this, right?
Yeah.
The idea of building before and then meeting someone versus we argue regularly versus, so you're of the opinion of you want to hustle, get your money up, blah blah blah, and then you always say then you can decide on who is
then I meet someone,
then you meet someone then you can operate at a certain level and get a certain caliber of lady, right? But on my side I've always said, like, I'm scared of achieving too much and then now looking for a significant other. Yeah. Because there's more barriers, there's more things that are tied to me that are like attractive. So the risk of it's true, because I'm scared that I don't want someone to be impressed by me. I say this all the time.
You always say it all the time.
I don't want someone that's impressed by me. Yeah. So I feel like the more you achieve, the smaller that window gets. Yeah. Because you're achieving more, less people can relate to that. Less people can relate to that. Then dynamic, it gets a bit strained. Yeah. So for me, that's why I was even like, before I start really grinding, hustling, and achieving and checking things off, I want to have the person so that when I'm grinding, achieving, and checking these things off, we're doing it together. That's always been my perspective when it comes to a lady. But yours is so.
I would never.
You don't want to build. You don't want to build.
I used to have that mindset when I was younger. Now it's not that.
But what changed? Why? I don't understand the rationale.
Yeah, like, the rationale is simple. It's a very simple rationale. The more you elevate yourself in life, the more you will meet somebody who's as elevated as you are. It's that simple. It might, but you see, water always finds its own level. So like, if you haven't done the self-work, because that's if we are saying that do the self-work first before you meet someone, then that essentially means that the quality of the person that you're going to meet and I'd hate to use it so like it's as if I'm buying coffee. But the quality of the person you're going to meet is very much determined by how much work you've put into yourself and how much you've invested. You see, Eli, the thing that you also have to realize about you is that you've come from a situation where you've done a lot of self-work really early in your life. You get what I mean? That's why you've really insulated yourself against a lot of the nonsense. So a lot of the women who I have seen in your life are women of a certain quality.
This is true.
True or false?
This is very true.
Exactly. So I too must also walk a similar journey. Because for me, when I went through what I went through, the message was clear. It was like, yo, bro, you know, you've gone to buy a pizza with 100 shillings and you want the whole damn thing. Like, no.
Yeah.
For you to actually be eligible for that lifestyle or for that life and that person who you're dreaming of and thinking about, you must become that man. And that was the message for me. So that essentially means that the more I grow, and you've seen it this year alone. You've seen, don't need to tell you twice. You've seen this year alone. Like February to now. Hey, don't even.
He's been on a journey.
February to November. You've seen just how, like we started, even when we started Man Talk. You remember March of 2020? March of 2020. The people I was talking to.
Yeah.
Now we're in November 2021. Who's on my man?
Yeah.
You know it.
I know the one.
Well, you know what I mean?
2 letters.
Yeah. So like, yeah,
Okay.
like that itself is like a testament towards. It's a testament. It's a hard thing because it's right there.
But still,
It's
here's the thing. This is the thing.
Yeah.
Even in the yes, you've elevated, talking to a certain different level of girls, right? But my problem and why it's very hard to even get a response from you sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Is that why are you here? Like why are you really here?
Is it me or the lifestyle? Is it me or the lifestyle, baby?
Why are you like?
Is it me or the lifestyle, sweetheart?
It's Sir Ardy here. But genuinely, like, it's my thing is, I wouldn't say trust issues, but I'm like, why? What's the actual reason?
Does
like,
she
are
love
you
me
looking?
for me?
Yeah, are you looking at Eli?
Yeah.
Like, as a person, are you looking at what Eli is associated with? Because first of all, I've achieved nothing compared to what I want to achieve. Like 0, right?
We're nowhere near.
Nowhere near. So I'm like, that's why I would like to be with somebody and they get to know me before there's other things associated, because the window just gets so small. I already have issues now.
Bruh,
like,
you know, there's a very limiting thing with that comes with, because it talks to your fullness as a person. I hope that you know that whether that girl comes or not, you will achieve those things that you will achieve.
But I want to do it with her.
I know you want
thing.
to. I know you want to. I know you want to. I know you want to. But understand that the potential that you have is your potential and can be your potential alone. You know, you don't have to have the validation or the support of someone in your life so that you can go and achieve your potential.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I want them there for the journey.
I told myself that. I told same sentence left my lips 5 years ago. No, I think this girl is going to be good for me because I feel like I'm in a point in my career and in my life where I feel like I'm headed to the top. Like I had a plan and I've been executing it and it's going really well. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you, like, no doubt, always account for disappointment.
Love that sentence.
Always account for it, because like you can imagine how much energy it'll take from you if you've conceptualized in your mind that you're building this with someone. It's like building a business, like the way me and you are building this business together. And then one morning I wake up and tell you, because I have plans to go and study where Man Talk doesn't work anymore and I'm gone. You see how like there'll be time and energy spent to reorient yourself.
But that risk comes with on both sides, though.
Yeah, it does.
I don't think
it
it's
does.
unique
But it's not a necessary risk. Is it a necessary risk?
Okay. For example, right? Let's give an example.
Let's go.
Right, and we talked about the stark difference. We've talked about the journey so far, and this is that now speaks to my thing of I don't want you to be impressed. I just want you to know me as a person, right?
Yeah.
So, for instance, you know, I'm not going to say what exactly happened, but remember the interaction with a certain individual, and it was quite dismissive, and it's like, okay. And we came back, and we were like, in a few months, based on the track record, and based on the field of work where you work, you're going to interact soon, and your energy is going to be so different the next time, because by the time I'm going to be occupying your space professionally, because that's probably where it would meet, you would already have a debrief. This is Oscar, he's from Man Talk, he does this. And the way you're going to treat Oscar is completely different. Now, my thing is, right, the treatment of you then versus the treatment of you in a few months' time, because I know this will happen.
Yeah.
We're going to interact. What would you rather? Would you rather when you're not like, they don't know who you are, and and you're like, okay, that's what the person thinks of me straight away. Okay, fine. Rather than it's clouded in all this, I have to be done this.
Let me tell you something. Because our perspectives are different, but they're also valid. That's the beauty.
Yeah.
I have enough faith in myself to know when I can to know and see the difference. Simply because I've interacted with enough people to know it. And you've seen it you've seen me tell you, Snake. Like easy. And I always tell you like that one. They're not here because or they like you and I, or they like you for this, or they like me because of Oscar's vibes, Oscar's good energy. No, sometimes you meet people who are legitimately there because they know that there's a beneficial interest to them. And beyond that, there's nothing to talk about. And I always tell you, and so far I've not been wrong. Have I? So there's still an interest. Like for me, I feel like there's still a self-belief that I have in myself, that even when I achieve what I'm meant to achieve, I will have the moral compass and the self-belief and the kind of that support system that will be able to sniff out and filter out people who are not meant to be in my life at that stage. So as I continue to grow, so does that perception. Like, so far it's not let me down. So that's why I'm like, I don't need me, like, because I had that mindset when I was younger, bro. Like, and it didn't serve me at all. Like, it did not serve me in fact, that is the one thing I lost, and I thank God when it went. Because that mindset for, we'll be together, we'll build together, let's build a business together, let's build what together. That's not the truth. Some people, like, I'll be honest with you, bro, like, legit, like, look, the people who are in your life and are doing something with their life, when you come together, you're two complete people coming together with your own plans. There has to be that sense of independence. Even if you're coming together to build, and I know I want someone who's genuine in my life, but it doesn't mean that the older I get, the less the probability I'll meet someone who's genuine. I will meet both. I will meet people who are disingenuine and people who are genuine. I will find the right genuine person to call my wife or girlfriend.
The pool is going to be much smaller. I think it's like J. Cole says, there's beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success.
It's not that lonely at the top.
But I don't know.
Drake.
Yeah, Drake. Yeah, collab. No, but like, genuinely, I think there's a beauty in doing that sort of struggle together. I really think there's a beauty in having those stories, that time where there was nothing. And that's what I really want. So my thing is,
you're like LeBron James and Savannah, J. Cole, and everyone.
I really think there's a beauty in that. I really do. So we're just never going to agree on that. Let's give some value to the young man then before we leave.
Okay.
What is because I said my advice to like a younger guy would be like, surround yourself with women. Don't be that creepy guy. Just be around women. Be okay with being women. Be able to actually find a girl funny and like laugh at her jokes, make her laugh. But there's nothing else there, because in doing that, your respect goes higher. Even when you interact with the other lady, it's better. What would be your like advice to your younger brother?
Enjoy. Simple. Enjoy being single. Enjoy. Let me tell you, because like, how many guys do you know and people basically they don't know themselves. Like, people are just jumping from relationship to relationship. Spend time with you, bro. Like, spend time with you. Know what you want.
I've spent too much time with me.
I've spent a lot of time with me. You know me.
And that's the problem.
Spend time with you. Like, for me, I feel like one of the best things that's ever, like, I really like the fact that I went through what I went through when I was younger. Like, right now I'm in this stage where I'm just like, I'm me, bro. Like, I know me. I know me. I know what I like. I know I have a plan. I know the sugarcane is just ripening. I'm just watching it ripen. I don't need to rush nothing. Enjoy I'm finding my purpose. You know what I mean? Like, look, man talk. We are single. We're single guys, just living life.
So single.
Enjoying life. Yeah.
Enjoy that. There's a place for that.
Enjoy.
However, there is also an emptiness.
Is there?
Oh my God.
For who?
No, trust me. It sounds great on paper, but yeah, there's an emptiness with.
We need to talk about that feeling.
No, there is. Like, there's only a certain level enjoyment can go. There's only so many girls you can make love. There's only so many.
It's not
flirts.
about girls and making love.
But we're talking about your specific Love in the 254. Love in the 254 is about relationships. The relationship we're talking about is the ones for enjoyment.
But what about the relationship with yourself?
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. With me,
where's the emptiness?
No. Okay, let me give you context.
Okay, give me.
The relationship with me is fantastic.
Okay.
But now, when there's an interaction with an individual, right? That interaction, because there's the feeling isn't actually there. You're just chatting or whatever. When that person leaves, there's nothing. So you can keep doing that, keep talking to loads of people, etc.
Oh, so you're talking about empty relationships.
Yeah,
not
with myself. No, but like there's enjoyment, but it will get to a stage. I guarantee it will get to a stage where you're just like.
When I say enjoy, I don't mean enjoy in terms of sleep with 7,000 women.
I'm not even talking about sleeping. Even just talking to, or
but when the right person will come, she will come. But like the thing I'm trying to get at is that you must be good at being single before you're good at.
Fantastic at being
single. Yeah, exactly. You see, you go for solo dates. You see, you're fantastic at being single, but there's a lot of guys who suck at being single.
Yeah. But that's to do with self-work.
Yeah, self-work.
So the parting thoughts for the young guys is work on yourself, be around as much women as possible, and even in the platonic sense. And I think that creates a better gent that can go out there and date, because the messages we get, whenever we're talking to a girl, my boyfriend's trash. I'm like, and I think it's just a case of the guy is not doing the work and the lady's not even helping the situation. So
and
spend
also,
time.
Don't be a hero. Don't be. Where's the camera? Don't be a hero. When you find someone like, don't be a hero. I find like a lot of men can find like women who are genuinely going through certain traumas.
Capitalize.
And then you try to save someone and then you hurt yourself in the process.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Hey, J. Cole said it. Don't save her. She doesn't want to be saved.
Trust me. J. Cole references.
Hey, don't save her, my friend. Because you might sit there thinking, oh, I'm the one. Especially if you're a guy who's stable. You're a guy who's like, you've done the self-work and you have all these things. I feel like most men who achieve that are like out here trying to save girls who haven't done the work on themselves. Because you think you're going to save someone. You're not going to save anyone. That's true. You're just going to waste time and resources and get pissed in the end.
Yeah, true. Okay. Final parting thought for the ladies that will be watching this is, as a guy that's in Nairobi at the moment, what I would love to just convey, and I'm going to watch Beryl's reaction as I say this, is we can tell. Like, we're smart. Don't
you say it, just let it out.
Don't try finesse us. It's not gonna work.
It's bad.
You can't finesse us. Like, okay, maybe you won't finesse me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's tiring to watch the brain work. It's like, just be honest. Go into interactions just with an honest heart. Like, don't try and finesse. Like, don't use yourself as a vehicle to be able to achieve things.
Yeah. My parting shot for the ladies is I'm loving life, baby. Loving life. Cheers. Loving life right now. Don't living my life. Hey.
But yeah, so that's
my parting shot.
That was for the toughest episode I've ever filmed. I hate talking about relationships, etc. Shout out to my mum if you watch this. But no, there's a time and place for everything. But
there's a time. Enjoy.
I hope you guys have enjoyed as we continue to enjoy. We'll see you on the next episode, which will not be about love. Next time we do Love in 254, we'll be in like 3 seasons time, because I don't want to. It's messy for me.
You never know.
Hopefully, when I come back for the next Love in 254, I want to be like, Oscar, it happened. It happened. Yeah, that's what I want to say next time. But
my sugarcane is still ripening in the sun.
That's okay.
All right, calm. Have a great day, guys. Share this with your friends.
I hated every
share,
moment.
subscribe. Eli is still having trouble talking about his feelings.
I hate it every second.
Like
every second.
We are going to keep talking about our feelings after this. So share with your friends. And those who've not subscribed, you're seeing a lot of people who've not subscribed. Do that. Just do that. We are cool. All right.
See you in the next one.